After Captain Ibrahim Traore surviving multiple failed assassination attempts and coup plots, now this young revolutionary leader is facing a new wave of criticism orchestrated from the streets of France, the very nation he has boldly challenged to relinquish its colonial grip on Africa. A few days ago, a small group of Burkinabe citizens took to the streets of Paris, waving placards and chanting slogans, demanding that Traore step down, branding him a dictator, and calling for a so-called democratic government. But let's pause and ask, who are these voices, and why have they chosen the soil of a former colonial master to air their grievances? Why not stand in Ouagadougou, where Traore himself has declared the streets open for protest, even against his own leadership? This is not just a story of dissent. It's a chapter in the long, painful history of Africa's fight for true sovereignty, a history that keeps repeating itself, yet one that Traore is rewriting with unmatched courage and vision. In a heartfelt speech just days ago, Captain Traore bared his soul to the people of Burkina Faso, a speech so raw and powerful it left many in tears, resonating across the continent. With unwavering conviction, he declared,
"Our only crime perhaps is trying to revolutionize our healthcare system, for example, to equip our hospitals, to build modern hospitals. Maybe our crime was wanting to revolutionize our educational system, to build schools up to standards, to change our curricula. Our crime might be having allowed our farmers to have cheaper fertilizer, to plow their fields for free, so that we can achieve food self-sufficiency. Or our crime might be wanting to build road and rail infrastructures so that our people can move around. In short, everything we try to do, I think some have always tried, unfortunately. The Salan slaves, the Africans who blindly follow the imperialists, have tried to discourage us. There is no reason to be demotivated, because history has always proven us right, and history will continue to prove us right. Today, so many things grow on our soil. When we initially announced that we wanted to embark on this agriculture, they thought we were crazy. They said it wouldn't work. Today our cocoa is doing very well. Sunflower is thriving in Burkina, our wheat is doing very well. In short,
these words are not just rhetoric, they are a battle cry for a Burkina Faso that dares to dream of independence, prosperity, and dignity. They are the words of a man who knows the weight of history, who understands that the path he treads is fraught with peril, yet refuses to bow. Let's be clear, Captain Ibrahim Traore is no stranger to danger. Since seizing power in a coup in September 2022, ousting the interim president Paul-Henri Damiba, Traore has faced a barrage of threats, assassination plots, coup attempts, and now this peculiar protest in France. Posts circulating on X claim he has survived no fewer than 18 assassination attempts in just over 2 years, a figure that, while unverified, speaks to the relentless pressure he endures. These threats come not only from within Burkina Faso, where factions of the military and disgruntled elites chafe at his reforms, but also from external forces, those who feel humiliated by this young leader's audacity to expel foreign troops and demand control over his nation's resources. France, in particular, has been a focal point of Traore's ire. Under his leadership, Burkina Faso has severed military ties with its former colonial power, expelling French troops and diplomats accused of meddling in the country's affairs. In January 2023, crowds in Ouagadougou waved Russian flags and held signs reading, "France's army, get out," a clear signal of the shifting tides in Burkina Faso's geopolitics. The protest in Paris, though small, raises troubling questions. Why would Burkinabe citizens travel thousands of miles to demonstrate in France, a nation that has long been accused of manipulating its former colonies through economic control, military presence, and political interference? Traore himself has been vocal about France's neo-colonial tactics, famously rebuking French President Emmanuel Macron in January 2025 for suggesting that African leaders owed France gratitude for its anti-terrorism efforts. Macron is insulting all Africans, Traore declared, urging the continent to fight against imperialism and decolonize mentalities. Yet, this group of protesters chose Paris as their stage, calling for Traore's ouster and the return of a democratic system, a system that, under previous regimes, left Burkina Faso mired in insecurity, poverty, and dependence. It's worth noting that Traore has repeatedly stated that protests are welcome in Burkina Faso, even those against him. So why Paris? Could it be that these voices are amplified by external forces uncomfortable with Traore's vision of a self-reliant Africa? History whispers a familiar tune here. Lumumba, Sankara, Gaddafi all face similar accusations of tyranny from abroad when they dared to challenge the global order. To understand Traore's predicament, we must look to the past, for history indeed repeats itself. Burkina Faso's own Thomas Sankara, the revolutionary leader assassinated in 1987, is Traore's spiritual predecessor. Like Traore, Sankara was young, just 33 when he took power in 1983. Like Traore, he sought to break the chains of neocolonialism, renaming the country from Upper Volta to Burkina Faso, meaning land of upright people. Sankara's policies, land reform, women's rights, education and self-sufficiency, threatened Western interests, particularly France's. His assassination, widely believed to have been orchestrated with foreign complicity, left Burkina Faso vulnerable to decades of exploitation. Traore, often compared to Sankara, knows this history intimately. In his speeches, he invokes the spirit of his mentor, declaring that Burkina Faso will no longer be a pawn in the games of imperial powers. But unlike Sankara, Traore has learned to play a different game, one of calculated defiance, strategic alliances, and grassroots support. Traore's tactics are giving his detractors sleepless nights. Where Sankara's idealism sometimes outpaced his pragmatism, Traore combines vision with cunning. He has diversified Burkina Faso's partnerships, strengthening ties with Russia, China, and Turkey, while rejecting Western dominance. He has expelled French troops and media outlets like France 24, accusing them of bias. He has also cracked down on internal dissent, not through wanton repression, but through a calculated amnesty for past coup plotters, like General Gilbert Diendéré, whose military expertise he seeks to harness against jihadist insurgents. This move, though controversial, shows Traore's willingness to unite even his adversaries for the greater good of Burkina Faso.
So, I brought up this video because of two persons. The two persons you are seeing on your screen now, Nnamdi Kanu and Simon Ekpa. Then in general, the Biafran people. Have you seen what the West is trying to do to Ibrahim Traore? Have you seen, upon all the developmental changes, improvement, and every agricultural diversity and everything that this man is doing for their economy to boost them and remove them from, Western grip? Some persons went to France to revolt against him. Some persons went to France to protest and say that he should be dropped. And do you know what happened? The media quickly pushed it. All the protests that have been going on in Burkina Faso about the people supporting his mandate and telling him to continue in his good works, they will not push it to international media. But once it comes to trying to bring any African country down, they will do it. And this leads us to Nnamdi Kanu and Simon Ekpa. You see, this is the reason why at some point I will blame Finland in what is happening to the PM Simon Ekpa, because one way or the other they are connected. One way or the other they are connected. I tell you, I kid you not. So once they understand that they have some benefit, look into the Nigerian state. Just anywhere you see constant Fulani attacks, do a research about that place. In Jos, they are having a constant attack in Plateau State. Go and find out the kind of mineral resources that are in Jos. Jos has a very high deposit of tin. Go and check. Look at Benue State, look at Kogi State. Kogi State has a whole lot, a plethora of raw materials. They have coal. They have so many things. Anywhere you see these people going to, look at Ehamufu, go and check properly. You are going to notice that there's something they are looking for there. What do they want to do? They want to increase their financial power. They want to use those resources. Look at Zamfara, where they have discovered a high level quantity of gold. What are they doing? They are going there to pick it. Choppers are going there. Helicopters are going there, picking these things and leaving. I want to open your eyes to understand that the West are only interested in what benefits them. If they see that it benefits the African people, they are not interested. But if they feel it benefits them, they become very interested. And they can destabilize a particular area just to ensure that they get that particular thing they are looking for. Imo State, what do you think they are looking for in Imo State? Why do you think the battle is high in Imo State? Imo State houses the highest deposit of natural gas. I'm not talking about crude oil. Imo State has crude oil, but Imo State has the highest deposit of natural gas, I think, in West Africa. In West Africa, the highest deposit of natural gas. And they are connecting underground pipelines, making all these natural resources. They don't want you to have rest. They don't want you to know what you have. They don't want you to one day open your eyes and demand for your property. They want to continue to subjugate you and make these things for free. For free. They don't want to pay the required value for that resources. They want to get it as low as almost free. We must open our eyes and realize that it is not just Tinubu and Buhari that is holding Nnamdi Kanu down. We should understand that the powers that be in the West are interested, and they have seen that if Nnamdi Kanu or Simon Ekpa is allowed, that these people are going to divide Nigeria, and there's going to be a strong force coming from that part of Africa known as Biafra. And so therefore, they want to silence everything concerning Biafra. We must now look outside the box and ask ourselves questions. Who are those that are against the West? How do we meet with them and discuss with them? If it requires that we give them oil for 10 years, fine and good. We give them oil for 10 years and we have the support that we need. If it requires we give them our resources, let us give them our resources and have our freedom for Christ's sake. It is time we open our eyes. And this, I hope, gets to PM, because I know PM has shared our videos on, countless occasions, and then we know he has his cell phone now and he can go through certain things and view certain things, and he's seen everything that's happening. We believe he is going to listen to these brokers. Whatever that needs to be done, if he needs us to give the West whoever that can help us achieve our dream, if it requires that we should give them oil or whatever we have, or natural gas, whatever they need, if it requires that we should give them for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, let us give it to them and have our freedom. Have our freedom, develop ourselves and become a strong power within Africa. And then in the twinkling of an eye, 30 years is gone, 20 years is gone, 10 years is gone, and we are free completely. Let us look inwards and see how we can save ourselves. Because if you look at the Fulanis and their agenda, you would try to make hay while the sun shines. Thank you for listening. It is Biafra First.